It's in science as proof that we're at. But my still hate. The sadness. The planet.
The SCP Foundation is the ultimate rabbit hole for those interested in the dark, disturbing, and unexplained. For those of you who don't know, the SCP Foundation is responsible for capturing, containing, and studying various paranormal, supernatural, and other mysterious phenomena unexplained by science, while also keeping their existence hidden from the rest of society. These phenomena are known as anomalies to us and classified as SCPs to the Foundation. Their archives can be found online, which contain thousands of records, ranging from SCP-087, an endless unlit stairwell haunted by a shrouded figure, to SCP-106, a corroded and decayed humanoid entity with a malicious instinct to hunt and drag humans to a dimension beyond our understanding. Nonetheless, each one of these SCPs exists at the threshold of reality, having their own history and purpose. Except for one, which I personally believe to be the most disturbing SCP of them all. This is SCP-1981. A corrupted Betamax recording of Ronald Reagan's evil empire speech from March of 1983. This anomalous object was discovered by a filing clerk at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library in Simi Valley, California in 1991. Attached was an adhesive sticker with the title, "Ronald Reagan cut up while talking." The filing clerk inserted the recording and watched in horror as they witnessed what appeared to be a lifelike edit of Ronald Reagan being cut up, bleeding all over his podium. After viewing the tape, the clerk immediately notified the police, as they believed this obscene edit was grounds for criminal charges. However, local investigations were cut short, as the SCP Foundation soon caught wind of this tape, contained it, and closed the investigation. Back at the Foundation, researchers immediately began to study this supposed anomalous object. Upon the very first playback, everything began as normal. Reagan's speech was as it was back in 1983, but only up until a minute and 10 seconds in, where it heavily deviated from the original script. Nothing like any speech he's ever performed before. The new words protruded from Reagan's mouth for approximately 4 minutes, before lacerations, incisions, and penetration wounds slowly began to appear all over his body from an unknown source. He continued giving his speech throughout his injuries, as if they weren't even happening. This went on for several more minutes, until the tape abruptly cut to static at 22 minutes and 34 seconds in. However, this isn't even the start of what makes this tape so disturbing. As stated before, everything is normal until 1 minute and 10 seconds in. But each time the tape is rewound, everything is different. Each and every subsequent viewing. Reagan's words are mostly incoherent and nonsensical, lacking any sort of thematic structure. However, there have been instances where he's touched on torture, child genital, and even future events that haven't happened as of 1983, such as election results and catastrophes. The speeches can be quite concerning, but not as frightening as how the video can end. Reagan has been observed to be injured enough to the point where his vocal cords only produce a drowned-out gurgle, and in some cases, having his head completely severed. Over the years, the SCP Foundation has conducted several investigations into the strange Betamax tape. There are only a few recordings the Foundation has captured during their studies. Because of its horrific nature, I will only be sharing the audio. The first of these recordings was captured in 1993, where officials observed this snippet.
A renewal of the traditional values that have been the tendons of this country's strength. One recent survey by a Washington-based researcher concluded that Americans were far more willing to participate in cannibalism than the past 100 years. America is a nation that will not suffer abominations lightly, 7, and that is the core of the awakening, 12, 18. For the first time we have risen, and I see we are being consumed. I see circles that are not circles, billions of dead souls inside containment. Unravelers have eaten country's moral fabric, turning hearts into filth. I'm from a kingdom level above him. What does that yield? A hokey smile that damns an entire nation. There is no hope.
At 19 minutes and 15 seconds in, Reagan winced back, as if experiencing severe pain. Several new lacerations began to manifest across his eye socket, as well as punctures penetrating his skull. The remainder of his left arm was now cleanly bisected. Reagan continued as follows.
Further consensus has proven that over half of all Americans still hate, heaped and whole by void, the emptiness, the sadness, the blackness, the darkness.
Then from 20 minutes and 30 seconds in, Reagan simply kept laughing until the signal degraded into static at the 22-minute and 34-second mark. Numerous tests were conducted over the following years. During this time, researchers noticed a strange hooded figure in some of the recordings, just standing there, motionless, for the duration of the tape. It appeared in roughly 1 in 7 viewings, including a notable viewing in 1996, where officials monitored the following.
I've been to the steel mills of Alaska and the cornfields of Nebraska. I've seen the derelict offices of Google burn with the window boarded up and the squatters inside them. I've seen the houses where they cut up the little babies. From coast to shining coast I have walked empty down drooling path and the decaying flesh of false morality poisoning our children. I've stood atop the mountain of this greedy earth, looking upon our beautiful pious pit, filled to bursting with the vast hands of helplessness. Then did you know what I saw? Hell. Now there you go again. But truly now, we live in a fortunate time. This is a fortunate time. Time is on our side. A stitch in 9 saves time. There are your truths, and there are my truths. There are known knowns, known unknowns, and unknown indecipherable. Some of them are in the audience right now.
At this stage, 16 minutes in, the wounds inflicted upon Reagan's neck were so severe that it could no longer support his head. His speech degenerated into gurgles as Reagan violently jerked forward, his spine being completely severed, and his head only being loosely connected to his body by strands of muscle tissue. Reagan's body remained alive for the next 3 minutes, continued to gesture as if he was still speaking, before finally collapsing to the ground behind the podium. The recording then degraded into static at 22 minutes and 34 seconds in. But it wasn't until 2005 where the strangest viewing occurred. To this day, the following event has never been replicated. The video begins with a long shot of an empty podium, as well as empty chairs normally occupied by Reagan and his entourage. Strangely, this is the only recording that lacks both video titles and the presence of Ronald Reagan. At 30 seconds in, the camera zooms in on the podium and continues to focus on nothing until 2 minutes and 55 seconds, where the hooded figure enters the shot and stands at the podium. It remains frozen in place for the entirety of the film, until the final frame of 22:34, where a single frame flashes with the words, "I see you." This figure has been dubbed as SCP-1981-1 and appears to be the same entity researchers spotted in previous viewings. However, since this viewing, this figure has never been sighted again, even after countless tests and observations. SCP-1981-1 has been missing since 2005. Its whereabouts is currently unknown, but if it happens to be observed, staff are advised to not communicate with the figure and notify a high-level SCP supervisor immediately. After rereading the file and recording logs several times, there was no other information on the figure, nor why this tape exists. There was a recording transcript from a viewing in 2002. However, it has been redacted for unknown reasons. It could be because it foretells of a future event that has not happened yet, such as an election result or a major disaster. It could also have a connection to the figure's disappearance, but I don't think we will ever actually know the truth behind what happened in 2002. In the end, this SCP, in my opinion, is the most disturbing safe class SCP of them all. SCP-1981 is more than just a videotape. The tape's contents distort itself in a frightening, dreadful way, giving the viewer a completely personalized experience each and every time it is watched. But what makes it the most disturbing is that the tape is aware you are watching it, all while something else is watching you back. But as always, thank you for watching, and good night.